See, today I'm going to explain you what is the purpose of this S4 HANA, right? Why the SAP company has developed this SAP S4 HANA, which is very much a hot topic nowadays in the market, right? So what is the use of this product? And what are the features of this SAP S4 HANA? All these things we will discuss today. See, HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. So HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. You know the meaning of SAP, ERP, all these things everybody knows now, right? But what is this SAP HANA? Actually, the HANA is the name of the database owned by SAP company. So the previous ECC, it will work on the third-party databases. On any third-party database, the previous ECC will work. But there are number of challenges, number of problems, especially from the reporting point of view. In the case of ECC, right, when you're working that ECC on third-party databases. So in order to overcome all these problems, SAP has developed its own database. So that the name of that own database is HANA. So HANA is the own proprietary database of SAP company. Now, in order to enable the previous ECC to work on HANA database, SAP has done some changes in the functionalities available in ECC. That new functionalities introduced in ECC together is called S4 HANA. Right? So what are the changes that have been introduced on the functionality side? That is given in training, right? The configurational changes, architectural changes, right? And reporting changes. All these things will be explained to you in the training classes. But here, how the HANA database is going to improve the reporting capabilities, right? Why this SAP HANA database is gaining popularity day by day. For that, we have to understand the main features of HANA database. Remember, HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. So it is own proprietary database of SAP company. So the main features of this HANA database is columnar tables, then IMDB, in-memory database, then MPP, massive parallel processing, right? So these are the three main features of this HANA database. So what is columnar tables, right? You know the tables concept, right? In any relational database management systems, right? The data is managed in the tables, okay? So here, why SAP has introduced the columnar tables in HANA database? See, all the traditional databases, we store the data in the row-based tables. What is the row-based tables here? See, traditional database versus HANA database. Say, for example, traditional databases means SQL Server, then Oracle, DB2, Informix, like that, all the relational database management systems which are presently we are using, right, are traditional databases. So in the case of traditional databases, right, the files are stored in the form of rows. Say, for example, we have one table, right? In the table, we have the customer name, product name, quantity, value, and business area. So today we are posting one invoice, sales invoice. In the sales invoice, we enter the customer number, product name, quantity, value, and business area. So all this information is stored in one file. So this is one file, this is one file, this is another file. So in the case of traditional databases, right, the system will store all these files or records in the form of rows. So first the file is stored here. Immediately after that file, the second file is stored. After that file, the third file is stored. Like that, all the data is stored in the form of rows, right? Now, suppose for example, we have 1 billion files. You have 1 billion files. So today I want to generate one report. I want to generate the report which shows the largest 3 customers, based on the value and quantity. See, I want to display one report which contains the highest three customers in terms of value and quantity. So in this case, what is the selection parameters you enter? You enter all the customer numbers, right? You enter the quantity parameters and you enter the value parameter. So in order to fetch the data into that report, the system will verify, right, all the rows. It will verify 1 billion records. So because each file is stored in the form of a row, right? So it will verify 101, product name FGA, then quantity 100, value 200. So it will not verify the business area. Then again, it will verify customer number, right? Quantity, then value. Again, in the third file, customer number, quantity, value. Like that, from all the 1 billion records, it has to verify all the files. That's why in the current system of databases, the reporting speed is very low. In the real time, sometimes one report will take nearly 1 day also to pull the report, right? Especially when the data is very huge. In the case of international companies, right? Sometimes to pull one report, it takes a half a day or 1 day or 1.5 days also sometimes. So that is what exactly happens in the case of traditional databases. Now, I told you, HANA database is based on columnar tables. So in the case of HANA database table, what happens is, for each column, the system will maintain a file. So maximum how many columns you have here? 5 columns. That means 5 files it will maintain. That's it. But here, 1 billion files are there. The data of all the 1 billion files are maintained in 5 files in the case of HANA database table. Now, what is the criteria? In order to pull the report of highest number of customers in terms of quantity and value, what is the main criteria? Value and quantity. So value is stored in one file and quantity is stored in one file. So the system verifies only 2 files. Based on that, the system will identify the customer numbers. See how easy the report is. Because of this columnar database feature of this HANA database, the reporting speed has been increased like anything. Clear? So in order to enable the previous ECC software to work on this HANA database table, SAP has started restructuring all of its products, right? Even BW also, it has started restructuring its all the products. Step by year, it's restructuring all its products, not all the products at a time. Year by year, actually this HANA database was introduced in 2015 March. So the first version at that time is 1503. So the first 2 letters represents the year, right? The next 2 letters represent the month in which the version was introduced. So the first version of this S4HANA is 1503. Clear? This is how the columnar database will increase the reporting speed. Then the other one is, the second parameter is IMDB, in-memory database. So in-memory database means, see, in the in-memory database, what happens is, first you have the central processing unit, right? After that you have the RAM. Then the RAM is connected to hard disk. So hard disk is nothing but iron plate. Hard disk is an iron plate, right? So in the case of traditional architecture, what happens is, CPU, central processing unit, right? It will have the CPUs or cores, right? Through the CPU, you process the data. Suppose you want to pull one report, right, which shows the 3 highest customers based on the quantity, sales quantity, right? So you enter your query in the CPU. Then the CPU sends the query to RAM. RAM means temporary memory, right? Random access memory. So it's always temporary memory, right? So from the CPU, the system sends the query to the RAM. Then the RAM will send another query to hard disk where the data is available. So in the hard disk, you have the 1 billion records. So from the 1 billion records, right, the system will search using the query language. The system will search the highest number of customers in terms of quantity. Then the data is pulled into the RAM. From the RAM, the data is displayed on the CPU. So what is happening? When you generate a query, that query is sent to RAM, from RAM to hard disk, right? That is the traditional architecture. But in the case of in-memory database, right, the RAM itself will work as a database. The RAM itself will work as a database. So there is no hard disk now, right? That means the storage device is located very near to CPU. But in the previous one, what happens? The CPU, I mean, the hard disk or the database device is located very distant to central processing unit. So in the case of HANA database, right, the data itself is stored in the RAM. That's why the architecture in the case of HANA database is very, very high. The architectural cost is very, very high, right? So in HANA database, data is stored in RAM. In the traditional database, the data is stored in hard disk. That means in the traditional databases, the database is located in very distant place of your CPU. But in the case of HANA, the database device is located very near to CPU. In that way also, right, the reporting speed also has been increased. See, for example, the report previously, which has taken nearly 1 day or 1.5 days, can be generated in the HANA database within seconds, right? More than 1 lakh number of times, right? The reporting speed has been increased. That is another feature of this HANA database, IMDB. IMDB means in-memory database. Then MPP, massive parallel processing. What is massive parallel processing? Let us take one example. Let us take one general example. Then I will explain you what is this massive parallel processing. See, suppose for example, we have 5-storied building. We have 5-storied building. Ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, and fifth floor. Now, I want to get this total building painted. So, I employed only one worker. Just a small building, 5 stories. I employed only one worker. He says, right, sir, I can paint only one floor in 1 day. So to complete the total building painted, I need 5 days. But I want to get it done in 1 day itself. Then what is the alternate for me? I have to employ 5 people. That's it. So if you employ 5 people, right, you can complete the total building painted in 1 day. So here you want to increase the speed of the reporting. The main purpose here is the speed of the reporting I want to increase. If you apply the same principle in the computing capabilities, right, we employ multi-core processors. Core means it itself is a CPU, right? Core means it itself is a CPU, right? So quad core means, you might have heard about the word dual core, right? Which was very, very old. In dual core means you have the 2 CPUs, 2 cores. Quad core means 4 cores. Say for example, if you are using quad core, right? You are using 4 processors, 4 CPUs. Remember, each core itself is a processor. Now, we are using, see, here you have 1 billion records, right? In the HANA database, you have 1 billion records, right? Then you are generating the report which shows the highest number of customers, in terms of value and quantity. So what are the parameters you enter here? Quantity and value, and customer numbers, right? So when you're using multiple cores, one core will analyze the value parameters. Another core will analyze quantity parameters. Another core will analyze number of customers. Means each core will work on one dimension. Generally, one core can process 3.5 billion records per second. Each core can process 1 billion records per second. Process means it analyzes, and each core can do 15 to 30 million aggregations per second. Aggregations means additions, subtractions, multiplications, or data processing activities. So each processor can analyze 3.5 billion records per second, and each processor, I mean each CPU or each core can do the 15 to 30 million aggregations per second. See how much speed you are able to get the reports with. These are that is the meaning of massive parallel processing. So each core will work parallelly on each dimension of the report. That is called massive parallel processing. So because of these three features, one is columnar database, number two, IMDB, in-memory database, and number three, massive parallel processing. Because of these three features, right, the reporting speed has been increased. Then, see why SAP has developed this HANA database. Why SAP has developed this HANA database? Because of the problems or challenges that the companies have been facing when they are using ERP product, ECC. In addition to that, nowadays the world is moving right towards artificial intelligence, machine learning, and also digitalization. So see if the SAP cannot, if the SAP company does not update its product, right, it will fall back in the race. That's why even SAP has been doing the research since inception of the company. Even though it has developed ECC 6.0, right, it did not stop its research activities. Every year they are coming up with some new enhancements, new products, etc. So as a part of that research, right, SAP has developed this HANA database in view of competing in the current race. So the common challenges are facing by the companies are what? Slower reporting due to complex data model. That means what? Here in the ECC, there are thousands of tables. There are thousands of tables. For FI, there are some tables. Again, there are master data tables. There are transactional data tables and index tables. What are the index tables? Line item tables. In MM, you have the transactional data tables, master record tables. So in every module, there are hundreds and thousands of tables. That is the meaning of complex data table. So when you want to pull a report, the system has to search in the multiple tables, right? That's why it is taking a lot of time. That is the reason why when you have the complex data model in terms of number of tables, the reporting is very slow. Clear? Then time consuming reconciliation between different modules. So we have the MM, SD, PP, HR, FICO, like that. We have the number of modules, right? So we cannot integrate every business process with other modules. So some isolated postings are done in different modules. In that case, we have to do a lot of reconciliations every month end. If you want to prepare monthly financial statements, right, you have to spend a lot of its time, employees' time on the reconciliation activities. Unless the reconciliation is done, right, there is no use of preparing the P&L account and balance sheet. They will not show correct picture of the profit. So time-consuming reconciliation between different modules. Then high cost of operations. Then high cost of infrastructure. Infrastructure means lot of hardware, right? Then software, then routers. Lot of investment has to be done on the infrastructure. So when you invest lot of money in the infrastructure, right? Just one second. You see, why high cost of infrastructure? Because of technological advancements, right? Sometimes what happen, whatever the investment you have done in the current hardware will be of no use after 2 years or 3 years. Everything has to be written off as depreciation. You might have seen you might have experienced in your personal case also. The laptop which you have purchased before 5 years, will it be able to cater all your needs now? No. Like that, in the case of companies also, right, the infrastructure, what they have installed some number of years back will be of no use currently. So again, they have to invest in the infrastructure. That's why high cost of infrastructure is there. So what is the reconciliation activities? See, in the current architecture, what happens is that data is stored in multiple components. Means in FI, in some tables data is stored. In CO, some tables are there. In MM, SD, HR, like that, the data is stored in different tables. Multiple components means different tables. Multiple tables are updated for single transaction to update multiple components. That means what? Say, for example, you have posted one document in MM. You have issued the raw material to production. So you post it in MB1A transaction code as a user. Then what is happening? One MM document is posted, right? Then one FI document is posted. One CO document is posted. Then one property center document is posted. So MM document will have the line items and document header. So the document header information and the line items are posted, are stored in two tables in MM. FI information, FI document, you have the two tables, right? What is that? BKPF, document header, BSCG, document line items. Then cost element, CO document means cost element line item tables are updated. Then cost object tables are updated, because the information is maintained in the cost center through cost elements, right? So the cost center line item tables are maintained, cost element line item tables are updated, then property center tables are updated. See, for one posting, number of tables are updated. So for one transaction, it is updating multiple tables, which is also very time consuming process. Then huge efforts is required for reconciliation, right? So profitability analysis is to be reconciled, asset accounting is to be reconciled, material ledger, controlling. So like that, all the modules are to be reconciled with the general ledger. This is the problems in the current architecture. Because of these activities, we are taking a lot of time to finalize your financial statements. So in order to avoid all these problems, SAP has developed only one table, right, which is called ACDOCA. People call this table with different names. Some people ACDOCA, some people ACDOCA, some people ACDOCA. Like that, there are different names they are calling it. ACDOCA, ACDOCA. That is called single table, right? Only one table. So this table contains all the fields from different tables, especially the line item tables and index tables have been removed, because most of the reports are generated from line item tables and index tables. So SAP has removed all these tables, and all the fields of those tables are incorporated in ACDOCA table. That is called universal journal entry. So it contains all the information necessary for all the tables. Online item table for all the sorry, one line item table for all the components. I told you, all the line item tables have been removed. So the fields from all the line item tables of different components in the ECC are now are incorporated in one line item table. That is a docket table. So when you generate a report, right, instead of searching from the different tables, the system will search only this table, and from the table reports are generated. So the speed is increased. As all the fields of different components are available in one table, there is no need for reconciliation. There is no need for reconciliation now. That's how the cost of operations have been reduced, reporting time has been reduced, right? And the reconciliation activity necessity has been reduced. This is called universal journal entry. So the total S/4HANA component is based on this docket table. That's it. Clear? So this is the main features of this product, right? Deployment options and all these things we will cover very elaboratedly in our training classes, right? So that is the main crux of this HANA database or S/4HANA is universal journal entry, which is also called a docket table. Okay, so deployment options we will discuss later on. What is the content we are going to cover? See, overview of SAP HANA. What is SAP HANA? Why you need HANA? How it was done before? How it works now in HANA? Then overview of Simple Finance. Functionality and benefits of Simple Finance. Deployment options for Simple Finance. Upgrade paths to Simple Finance. Universal Journal. So universal journal, it takes a lot of time to explain, right? Then tables removed. What are the tables that have been removed from ECC? What are the new tables introduced in S/4HANA? Then universal journal extensibility, universal journal entry, document numbers compatibility with the CO. See here, I'm not going to explain everything in S/4HANA. Means, suppose in S/4HANA also, you have to create basic settings. Like you have to create a company code, fiscal year variant, chart of accounts, everything we need to do. So when I'm creating chart of accounts, I will not explain you what is chart of accounts, what is the purpose of chart of accounts, how many chart of accounts are there. All these things I don't explain. But there are some fields, or there are some settings which have been changed, right? Those changes I'm going to explain you. Say for example, but these changes I will show you both in ECC and S/4HANA also. See, in chart of accounts in ECC, here you have the controlling integration, right? So in S/4HANA, there is no controlling integration field. There is no controlling integration field, right? Why? I will explain. That's how we concentrate on delta changes, right? See here, the S/4HANA access is provided through remote desktop. Our version is 1909. See, there is no controlling integration. So why that field is not available in the controlling integration? I'm sorry. Why that field is removed in SAP S/4HANA? Similarly, I will explain you. So these changes I will explain you in our classes, right? Say for example, if you go to OBBP, sorry, OB52, right? Here in the post-implemented variant maintenance table, right? You have the period 1 interval, period 2 interval. But in S/4HANA, see, in S/4HANA, period 1 interval is there, period 2 interval is there. In addition to that, period 3 interval was introduced. So what is the purpose of this period 3 interval? Getting the point? This I will explain. Why SAP has introduced this period interval 3 in the posting period, and similarly in FS00, right? You have P&L statement account, then short text, long text, that's it, right? But in ECC, I'm sorry, in S/4HANA, transaction codes did not change in most of the cases. You have GL account type. You have the GL account type. So under the GL account type, you have 4 options are there. Operating expenses or income, primary cost elements, secondary cost elements, then balanced account. Clear? So like that, why SAP has introduced these 4 options here in the GL account type? GL account type is not at all available in the ECC 6.0. See here, if you go to, see, the account group is there, P&L statement account type, and balanced account is there. That's it. But you don't have GL account type. But in S/4HANA, GL account type is there. Why SAP has introduced this? So like that, everywhere, wherever the changes are there, I'm going to show you the changes there. But to show you these changes and their impact, I have to do all the settings again. I have to create chart of accounts, company code, business areas, right? Then I have to create tolerance groups for vendors, tolerance groups for employees, tolerance group for GL accounts, field status variant. Say for example, in the field status variant, same transaction code, OBC4, they have introduced a new field status group, secondary cost elements group is there. Somebody has removed that secondary cost elements field status group is there. Why the secondary cost elements field status group is necessary here? See, actually what happened is, in order to have the reporting speed, right, SAP previously secondary cost elements are created in controlling only, right, in ECC. But now even the secondary cost elements are also created as a GL account master record. So as a result, what happens when you perform assessments, distributions, and periodic repostings? Sorry, when you perform assessments and when you repost the costs and when you repost the CO line items and when you perform settlements in controlling, previously only CO documents are posted, right? But now FI documents are posted. So even the secondary cost elements are also created as GL accounts now, right? Say for example, if you go to FS00, values are there. Huh? See, GL account and non-operating expense are income, right? Then, so here, this GL account salaries was created by the student as non-operating expenses income. That means it's not related to cost element, but you want to create the salaries account as primary cost element, right? So when you select this primary cost revenue, if you go to control data tab, see, cost element category is available in the GL account master record itself, right? Then if you go to create bank interest tab, see SECC, secondary GL is there. Suppose if your canteen expenses you are creating, right? So for the canteen expenses, you create one GL account. For that GL account, you need to enter field status group, right? For that purpose, you have one field status group, SECC secondary GL. So this field status group is not available and not necessary in ECC. But in S4HANA, it is necessary. Why? I will explain. Like that, what I mean to say here is, I am going to explain you the delta changes only. Right? So everywhere I take the reference to SAP ECC, then I will show you those settings, how they have changed in normal S4HANA, okay? Then what is extension ledgers, right? What is changed in the simple finance, what is prima nota, right? These things I will explain you. GL and cost elements, general ledger master data, cost element master data, primary cost element creation, secondary cost element creation, FI and CO period logs, then managing the ledgers, appendix ledgers and extension ledgers, appendix ledger benefits, appendix ledger configuration, then master data of ledger, right? Here you have the different types of ledgers, commitment ledger, right? Predictive ledgers, and then appendix ledger, base ledger. Like that, you have the number of concepts in the ledger concept, right? So all these things I'll explain to you. And also currency types. So in SAP normal ECC, we can use up to 3 currencies for company code. One is company code local currency. The other one is 2 parallel currencies, right? In addition to company code local currency, we can configure and use only 2 parallel currencies. But in the case of S4HANA, we can configure up to 8 currencies, right? So like that, what is the necessity? How to configure all these currencies? I will explain you. Then new asset accounting. There are a lot of changes in new asset accounting, right? This asset accounting also I'm going to explain you. Here I will do all the configuration. Then I will show you how to calculate depreciation, how the depreciation is posted, what are the differences between depreciation calculation ECC and also here in S4HANA. Like that, everywhere I will explain the changes. And for those changes in S4HANA, what was originally existing in ECC. Then CO module in simple finance, CO posting changes, CO configurations, COPA with HANA. So in HANA, right, the major, importance is on account-based COPA. Why? We will discuss. Then cash management. Here, so okay, technical changes for CO, then CO postings. Now, cash management. Here, now we are creating house banks, right? In one transaction code, FI12, right? We are maintaining house banks and account IDs in the FI12 transaction code. But that FI12 transaction code is totally obsolete now in S4HANA. That too, in S4HANA, we can create only house bank in the server. But the account IDs are to be created in the Fiori apps. And also I will show you the Fiori server. What are the apps that are available? How to find the apps, right? How to work with the different apps. All these things we cover in Fiori apps also. So in the cash management, right? You have the 2 types of cash management, right? So those 2 things also we are going to cover, right? So how to create bank accounts. These things we will cover in the cash management. Then migration to simple finance, right? What are the phases that are there in the migration? Then project preparation phase. Installation phase is very, very technical one. Okay, I cover only theoretical part of it. Then customization phase, general ledger. So these are the topics what I'm going to cover in the general ledger relating to configuration. Then asset accounting new, controlling. Then post-processing phase, reporting options. Under the reporting options, what are the traditional ERP reports? What are the simple finance reports, HANA live reports, and what are the reports that are available in the Fairy apps, right? So to do the practice, right, you should need internet compulsory, right? You cannot install this SAP GUI, all these things as you have done in the case of normal ECC. So you need 3 servers, right? One is ECC, compulsory you have to have the ECC EHP 7 or above version, right? Then you have to have the Fairy and you have to have the NWBC, Network Business Client. So these 3 servers are necessary. That's why the server access is provided through remote desktop connections only, right? So this is how, and one more thing, there is no material for this. I will send you only the PPTs. There is no configuration settings material for this because most of the settings are there from ECC also, but wherever necessary, I will dictate, you have to write the configuration settings wherever necessary. I will be going on very systematically, don't worry about it. So wherever necessary, you have to write the steps, okay? And downloadable access is not given. For the recordings, downloadable access is not given. I will upload those recordings in one application, right? I will give you only the view access, but you can view any number of times you want. Downloadable access is not given to anybody, right? The downloadable access is only for ECC only, but for the simple finance, I started training the simple finance from the first version itself, 1503 itself, right? That is around 2016 I started. From then onwards, I have been giving this view access only to the simple finance recordings. Every year the changes are coming, right? Till 2025, right? We are expecting the changes. So every year they are releasing one version. But if you learn one version, right, you can update yourself to the other versions easily whenever they are introduced. So our class timings will be 4 to 6. For 1 or 2 weeks, I will take 4 to 6, right? After that, I will shift the timings to 6 to 8 evening. And it will take 50 hours. That means 10 weeks it will take. Anthony, any questions?
No, sir. No, Lakshman.
Okay.
So the class will be in Indian time evening, right? 4 to
Yes,
6
yes. Indian time evening.
6 to 8.
Chandan?
No, sir. No, not yet.
Okay. Avinash?
During this session, so material ledger is also going to cover?
Yeah, material ledger I will cover. Material ledger changes I will cover.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Reddy Prasad? And one more thing.
I don't have any doubts.
Yeah. Okay. And one more thing is, vendor master record creation, customer master record creation has been changed now. Business partner is compulsory now. Previously, the business partner concept was used in the FSCM, Financial Supply Chain Management. But now, right, if you want to create a customer master record or a vendor master record, right, you have some standard transaction codes. To create vendor master record, you have the XK01. To create a customer master record, you have the XD01. Now XK01, XD01 are totally obsolete. You cannot use it. Not only XK01, XK02, XK03, XK04, all these transaction codes are obsolete. XD01, XD02, XD03, all these transaction codes are also obsolete. In these places, right, they have introduced one transaction code BP01, business partner, right? So they have made it compulsory business partner implementation. Why? What I mean to say here is, we are going to cover the business partner configuration also. Reddy Prasad, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Tejasri,
So will you provide access for those three servers?
your voice is very, very low, Tejasri.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Will you provide access for those three servers also?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Compulsory, we have to have the theory, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
See, yeah. Just 1 second. This is Fury Launchpad. So these Fury servers are very slow, but we have to bear with it, right? The Fury Launchpad, right? How to customize this home page for the Fury, all these things we will discuss. Okay, this is the Fury.
Okay.
So only some apps are there defaultly, but we can add a number of apps from the app library. So what is the app library? How to access that? All these things I will discuss during the classes. Okay. Okay, then you can use the same link next week also. Next Saturday, we have the class at 4 p.m. as usual. Okay, you can use the same link. Okay, then.